Hi everybody, welcome back to GearGossip. It's Mooer again, the unspeakable, the Mooer, the Chinese brand with the mini pedals. It's one of the mini pedals and it's the radar. What's the radar? The radar is a pedal board, smally thingy, speaker simulator for line devices. Simulating speaker sound and adding this to any line out or any other sound that comes out of preamps, distortion boxes, whatsoever, but not to speaker outs of amps because you will fry both. Okay? There's no load. This is for line only. Please memorize. Speaker simulation and things can sound like this through it. Now for more detail. That's it. Not much to it. In for line and output, headphone out, a dial that is a dial and a clicky thingy switchy and a display. That's all you see. What you don't see is 36 presets with 30 speaker models for guitarists and bassists. Bass also, no, too sweet. 11 microphone models. There's a power amp simulation in there for all of you that don't use a power amp for this, which means all of you. 3 different equalizers. 2 graphic equalizers and 1 parametric thing with 5 bands. I doubt that any guitarist can handle this, but okay, here we go. For more detail, we need a cable. So that's the display. While turning, this is the presets, the number and the name of the speaker model. And there's 3 blocks, power, cap and equalization. If they are red, they're on. If they're black, they're off. And what more? There's 2 red arrows that show up occasionally, once in a while. They're just, I think they're indicating warning. If it's on the input side, things get in here too loud, and if it's on the output side, you're overdriving the unit. I guess because it's not mentioned in the manual. Yeah, so much for the basics, and I think I will just give you a run through some of these presets with this Brunetti Mille custom preamp, line out, no frequency compensation whatsoever, and yeah. After that, you can listen to it. It's real life, isn't it? Some of them you like, some of them you don't. 2 or 3 sound decent for everything, 2 or 3 sound decent for special things, and the rest doesn't. Some are suited perfectly for clean sounds, and some are more on the rock or metal side. There's something for everybody, I guess. But you will always find a good starting point for your own tweaking, which is what we are going to do now. So much for theory, now for detail, all these menu settings and the sounds that you can eke out of it. As I already mentioned, this is the display with power, which indicates the power simulation is on, cap is on, and equalizer is on. This red dial here is for selecting your preset, okay? And if you click it, this is the master volume. And if you click it again, you're back. And if you click it for 2 seconds, you're in bypass mode, in case you need a bypass on a speaker sim, just in case. And 1 second is edit. I chose this bassman thingy here because I like it. But it's all up to taste, actually. What do you see? The first thing that you see is the power amp section. How do you edit this? With dialing, you select the parameter, like click, edit, off, power amp off. On. No, not switch, turn. So that's how you edit. Click, dial in the value, in this case it's on and off, press again, and then select the next one. Tube. We have tubes. 6L6. 6V6. Ooh, bass. EL34. And EL84. Yes, they make a difference. Very good. We have input, how much compression and distortion for the power amp is in there. The presence and the output. I think I don't have to show this. You know what presence and output is. If you don't, stop playing guitar. You could save right now if the changes are sufficient. If not, don't. Next. Cap simulation. On or off? On. No? And then we have 30 models for speakers. Oh, that's one hell of a difference. No, you don't have to like all of them. Rectifier. Bassman back. My favorite. The next thing to select is the microphone, SM57. Neumann U87. U87. Difference. Well, I actually don't care if they're honest replication of the microphones. It just changes to the sound and they sound decent. The volume, okay, volume. And edge, what's that? Edge is 0 is the microphone is in the middle of the cone. That sounds like this. And 30 means edge of cone. And in between. Distance. Distance is 0 is close. And 50, I guess, is far off. Taking the edge off. So if things get too nasty and too harsh, just a little distance and okay. You could go back to power amp, you could save right now, and next is an equalizer. 3 of them actually. You could switch it off. How do you switch it off? You say off. Well, actually I would not need an equalizer here. Okay, there's bass heavy. On. Now it memorizes the settings. This is cool. It's not erased by switching it off. What do you see now? You have 5 bands of equalization, 120, 340, 800, blah, 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 blah. This is just the starting point. You can edit this, the frequency. And of course, the according gain. Let's just check for nasty things. 2000. All in. Ow. Wow, sloppy me. Yes, it does make a difference. I know that equalizers are not very popular among guitarists, but they're very useful tools. But I recommend to start with high frequency and low frequency pass, a low pass and a high pass filter. High pass takes care of all the rumble. Metal players will like this. Switched off. Example, off. Well, I have a subwoofer in the studio and this is really bassman. And now all in. Ooh. Well, in a nutshell, you can dial in anything that you want. Okay, and this is what I came up with. This is my basement thing. Nice string. Please check with all your sounds. Humbucker. Sweet. Check that it works also with your preset should be working for all your sounds. Clean, crunch, and everything in. Because you cannot switch it remotely. So you can't have this model for clean and this model for distortion sounds. Exception, bending over dialing. You cannot switch in a song. Or maybe with your toes. Well, that's the rundown. Actually, as I mentioned, there's things in there you don't have to like, and there's things in there you could like. Okay, I like this one. And quite a lot of other things. Okay, and now my verdict. What's my opinion, if you care? It's small. It can sound pretty decent if you're taking your time with it. It's cheap. You don't have to carry around a big speaker if you're using monitors on stage anyway. You don't need really a big 4x12 speaker in your studio. So it's a helper, actually. For the price, you can't complain really. Some will complain that some speakers really sound blah. But it's the same like going into the store. Do you think that all the speakers that you see in the store sound pretty decent? No, you don't. You think most of them suck, and this one I'm going to buy. It's the same with modeling. Take your time, just don't plug it in and sounds bad, take a different device. No, it needs to be tweaked. You will only find 2 or 3 models that you really, really like. The others are okay-ish, okay, for some special sounds, but 2 or 3 things, and that's enough, okay? For me at least. The only recommendation is get one and test it, and really, really test it. And it's up against not the amp in your room, it's up against the speaker, the microphone, and what you're getting out of this combination, live or in the studio, okay? Please be fair when you're testing this. In a nutshell, 2 thumbs up from me. It's a no-brainer to get one, actually. Why not? It's cheaper than most microphones, so why bother lugging around an amp and a speaker and somebody to carry it? See you.